the fourth video in how to use MotiveWave for new users, and this is some of the things that I found that are particularly useful for new users in the charts function. So earlier we used the MotiveWave console, but now we're looking at individual symbol charts. This is set up as the SPY, and whenever you start a new symbol, it's going to call that first one your primary analysis. You can add other analyses right here. You click here and you give me a new analysis. Call it something. Let's call it 60 minutes. And I can base it off of the primary analysis so that you'll get the same studies. Or you can say, no, I just want to start off with a clean 60-minute chart. Well, it did give me my preferences because I automatically set it up to always load my charts with these preferences. But I can get rid of everything just by clicking on that template that was up here, or undo. See what I did here is I clicked on this and it collectively deleted all of the studies that I've labeled as studies with prior day. So now I've just got my basic 60-minute chart, and you can see if I want to change it to 15 minutes, I just change it to 15 minutes here. Now SPY is a chart that I'm going to want to reference many times during the day. So I go into View and I link it. Right now it's not linked to anything. It's no group. But I could link it to Purple Group. And that means when I minimize the SPY chart and go back to my console, down at the bottom, my SPY chart is purple, so I can quickly find it from all of my other open windows. I know that my yellow one is CMI, and I've coded my Apple one obviously green, so I can quickly open SPY. Now this link actually has a bigger feature to it, so if you wanted to link a number of charts, maybe all of your precious metals, together in purple, that when you click on purple it'll open all of the charts for your precious metals. But I just find it very useful to help me identify quickly where my charts are at the bottom of my window. And if MotiveWave is listening to this, guys, I could use even more colors here. What's another really neat feature? Let me put you on pause for a second and just take a look at my each one of these tabs up here are different analyses that I've performed on the SPY, or different time frames. But I might have a Gartley drawn on the 1-hour chart. I may have an ABCD pattern I'm looking at on the 15-minute chart, and I want to keep them separate so as not to clutter up one graph. So you manage your analyses by going into File, Manage Analyses, and this will show you all of the analyses that you've done and the date on which you've done them, so that you can go and delete some old ones, or you can start new analyses. If you want to open a new analysis, or this is how you open up a brand new analysis, but if you want to open up one of your previous analyses, it's File, Open. These are the analyses that you had. One I called Gaps, so I'm going to open up the gaps. And there are no gaps because I've deleted them. We've already passed by them, obviously, because we're up at a new high. But we did create a new gap on Friday at the open. So I'm going to go in now and I'm going to identify. I use this as my gap tool, and I'm going to add that to the chart. But the point of showing you this was to show you that you use File, Open to open any previous analyses that you have. This is a very useful tool, and it's the ability to add another symbol to your chart. Here I've got Apple versus Google. Let's just see how that's done. So I can go into Study, Instrument, Instrument Overlay, and I can say that I can pick from any number of things that are already in the list, or I can choose to maybe add, don't know why I would want to, but I could add Netflix, and I could chart Netflix using overhead low bars, and now I've got Netflix and Google and Apple all on the same chart. So that's a very useful function. Again, you find that under Study, Instrument, Instrument Overlay. On the right-hand side, you have a series of default symbols that are helpful. If you've got a very cluttered chart, you can choose to click here and hide just about everything. Hide just your comments. Hide just your drawn lines. This is useful if you are going to post something on Twitter, for example, and you don't want to show your comments. Just hide your comments before taking a snap of the chart and putting it up for public view. And then the last little tip I'm going to show you is a window that I always keep open, and it's called Cursor Data. And that's found under File, that's found under View, of course, Cursor Data. And then I position this actually on a second screen so that it's never covered up when I click through charts, so that when I'm moving over the chart, I'm getting all the information about that candle in the Cursor Data window. So that's a very useful one to keep open, but obviously when you click on a chart it disappears, which is why if I want to have it, it's always going to be your second window in your list of open windows, so you can always call it out that way. There may be a feature where you can pin this. I haven't found it yet, but I just prefer to drag it to a second screen that I have and keep it off of my main screen. So that's just some of the tips on how to use charts. There are tons of other things to do, but I don't want to make this video too long.